Hi, thank you for purchasing a SKYMO radio mount. This video is going to be a getting started guide for part number 20174A. And this radio mount is made to fit 2022 plus GMC Sierras with the refreshed full center console. That's the one with the cup holders that run front to back. Now I want to talk about fitment for just a second because there are a few different versions of the center console that were available through these model years. So in order to make sure that part number 20174A is going to fit your truck, what you're going to want to look for is cup holders that run front to back, like I mentioned, and then angled sidewalls that come up from the console to the dash. That's this part right here. Now there are some trucks out there that have this style of center console, but they don't have these angled sidewalls. So if you don't have this right here, if this is just open, this part is not going to work for your truck. Now I can't find any examples of Silverados out there that have this angled sidewall, so this mount is not going to be compatible with those. It appears that this is just on most of the GMC Sierras with the refreshed center console. Though again, I did find some examples of GMC Sierras that do not have the angled sidewalls, so be sure to double check your console to make sure that this mount is going to work for you. So the first thing I want to do is open this box and just show you what you're going to get. When you open it, you're going to see what we call the mount base. That's this part right here. You're going to see a box with hardware, and you're going to see a mounting plate. So let me unpackage all this and then we'll look at all these components individually. Okay, so walking through all these components, here is your mount base that fits this truck. Here is your mounting plate, and then you have two packs with hardware and a 5/32 Allen key. And as we go through the installation process here, you're going to see where we use these packs of hardware. Other things you're going to need to complete this installation will be your radio's bracket, and I want to clarify that this kit does not come with the radio bracket. Now most radios are going to come with a bracket like this or something similar that you can use to install the radio, and that is what's going to interface with the mounting plate that does come as part of the kit. So we'll see how that works in just a moment. You're also going to need a 3/8 inch wrench and a Phillips head screwdriver, and that should be it. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, and then we're going to walk through this whole installation process so you can see exactly how this mount works. All right, step one is going to be to attach your mounting plate to your mount base. As you can see, we have 5 sets of holes here. The first thing you're going to want to do is determine what set of holes you want to use, and this is just going to be based on the size of your radio and your personal preferences. So it might help to kind of put this thing in place like so, and then just kind of mock up your radio. So where is your radio going to be sitting, and what height is going to make the most sense for you? I'm going to set it up just so it's sitting kind of flush with the top of the radio mount here, which looks like maybe the second set of holes from the bottom. So let's just use that for this demonstration. So what you're going to need to attach this is the hardware pack that has the 1/4 inch hardware, and that's going to be 2 square nuts, 2 1/4 inch button head cap screws, and 2 1/4 inch washers. Now on the inside of your mount base, you have all these square holes, so that's where the square nuts are going to fit in. And one thing I always like to mention is that some of the holes, especially up near the top, can be a little tricky to get the square nuts into squarely. So something that can help is if you just take your square nut and thread one of the button head cap screws onto it a few turns. It gives you a little handle, and you can use that to drop it into place. And then just unthread that screw, and there you go. Now that being said, if you're dropping your square nut into some of these holes down here, and there's plenty of space in this mount anyway, it's pretty easy to just drop it right into place. And then you can use your washers and your button head cap screws to get this thing secured in place. And this is where that Allen key is going to come in handy as well. You can use that to tighten this hardware down. And that is what it's going to look like. Now your mounting plate should be oriented like so. As you can see, the recess here is used for the bolt heads. So you want to make sure that the wings of the mounting plate are set up off the face of the mount base. Okay, so our next step is going to be to attach the bracket that came with our radio to our mounting plate, and to do that we're going to use the other set of hardware that comes with the kit. This is number 10 hardware, so you're going to have 2 number 10 Phillips head screws, 4 number 10 washers, and 2 number 10 lock nuts. And just to reiterate, this bracket that I'm attaching to the mounting plate right now does not come with the kit, so you will need this. Most radios come with it, some do not though. Some radio manufacturers do make you purchase it separately. That's just going to vary depending on your radio. And this is where you're going to use the Phillips head screwdriver, and the 3/8 inch wrench or an adjustable wrench, something to grab this lock nut. And we are done with that step. So here is what it looks like to this point. We have our mount base, our mounting plate, and our radio's bracket attached to that. And our last step before actually putting this thing in the truck is to attach our radio to its bracket. So here is our whole assembly all finished. Mount base, mounting plate, radio's bracket, and the radio attached to that. Now, to install this thing, all you want to do is put it in this frontmost cup holder. It's going to rest right here, and then just give it some gentle pressure downward, and it's going to snap right into place. Now, the nice thing about this positioning is it's far enough forward that you still have some clearance for your seat here, but it's not so far forward that you can't reach your controls. And if you wanted to, you could also mount your radio's bracket offset on the mounting plate if you wanted to move it a little further back or a little further forward. And that's really all there is to this mount. I hope you get some great use out of it. And if you have any questions about the mount or the installation process, feel free to leave a comment. I'll do my best to answer them. I really appreciate your order. Thank you for your business. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.